Hello and welcome to the Somatic Yoga for Grief with me, Lola, from Alamanda Yoga. So please take your time to get comfortable, sitting on a mat, maybe sitting onto a bolster or a block underneath your sitting bones, rising up through the spine, letting your shoulders relax back and down, and opening up your palms on top of your thighs. Working with grief today can be a difficult subject. It can make us feel like we have a part inside of us that's hollow or missing. With our practice today, we'll be working from our center, using our breath in each pose to guide us through the session. We're not going to ignore those emotions, but work through them, keeping your focus on your body, on your core, letting those thoughts quieten down as we step into our flow state. Taking a nice long deep inhalation into the belly, let's rise up those arms together. Fingertips interlacing, stretching up through those arms, gaze towards the palms. Exhale, lengthening those arms, bending through the back, tucking your chin in towards the chest. Inhale, rising back up, sending those palms up into the sky, gaze towards the hands. And exhale, let's gently release those arms. Taking the left hand onto the mat next to you and rising up and over with the right arm, sending your gaze over to the right side. Inhale, lengthening back into the center, engaging through your core. Now we're going to place the opposite hand onto the thigh, lengthening up and over with the left arm. Inhale to circle and rise through both of those arms, palms together. And exhale, let's release that right hand, lengthening up and over with the left, opening up through the ribcage, gaze over to the side. Taking that left hand on top of the right thigh and lengthening up and over with that right arm. Inhale, drawing back into the center. Let's gently come onto our spider fingers, walking those arms in front of us, lengthening out through the back and relaxing down the head and the neck, gaze towards the mat. Staying on your spider fingers, and we're going to gently walk those hands over towards the left side. Once you're feeling that nice stretch all down the side of your body, coming into your paws. Inhale to gently walk those hands back into the center, grounding down through the sitting bones. And let's gently walk our hands over towards the right side. Again, coming to your paws once you're feeling that stretch. Inhale to walk both of those hands back into the center. And we're going to very slowly begin to walk each hand up towards your legs, coming back up to sit onto the mat. Removing any props from underneath you, and we're going to come and meet into our tabletop position. Inhaling, opening up the chest, sending up the tailbone into your cow. Exhale, rounding the spine, tucking under the chin into your cat. Inhale, opening up, releasing the belly, gaze up into your cow. Exhale, tucking that navel into the spine, into your cat. Inhaling, opening up into your cow, really opening up through the chest. Exhale, one more time, rounding and arching into your cat. Inhaling, opening up into your cow. Exhale, coming back into the center. Drawing those knees nice and wide to the outsides of the mat, big toes together, lengthening those hands up to the top corners of the mat. And let's gently release, melting down the heart towards the mat. Chin connecting to the mat, gaze forward, softening through those hips, letting that breath draw down into the belly. Holding here for 2 more deep breaths. Your next inhalation, gently drawing those forearms into shoulder width apart, dipping and releasing down those hips onto the mat, sending the legs to the opposite corners of the mat, opening up the chest, opening up through the throat into your Sphinx pose, relaxing down through the glutes, relaxing down through the hips, breathing through those emotions or feelings that are arising here. Exhale, let's gently lower ourselves down onto the mat, lengthening out those arms nice and long next to the body, legs together. Relaxing down the right side of the face onto the mat. And we're going to gently draw that right leg foot into the butt, and then the left foot. Drawing that right foot into the butt again, and this time we're going to hold the hand around the outside of the ankle, drawing the foot in towards the butt. Feeling that stretch all down the hamstring, down the thigh, and exhale, gently releasing. Inhaling, let's draw up through the left leg, holding onto the outside of that ankle and drawing the heel towards the butt. Feeling that stretch again and breathing into it. Exhale, gently releasing from your stretch. Let's take those hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale to open up through the chest, lengthening up onto those arms, gaze forward. Exhale, gently walking those hands up to the top corners of your mat, relaxing down through the glutes. Feeling that beautiful back bend opening up through the chest. Exhale, gently lowering back down onto the mat. Taking those hands under the shoulders, and again, one more time. Inhaling, opening up, lengthening up through the spine, gaze up. Exhale, gently releasing back down onto the mat. One more time. Inhale to open up, lengthening up through the spine, gaze forward. Exhale, gently lowering back down, releasing the back. This time we're going to come up all the way onto your knees, into your tabletop position. Taking those knees out to the sides of the mat and sitting down into the heel, into your child's pose. Breathing nice and deep into the belly. Let's inhale, we're going to open up the right arm, lengthening back and over, maybe holding onto your waistband, opening up through the chest, gaze over that right shoulder. Exhale. Let's lengthen that right arm back down onto the mat, gaze to the mat. And inhale, we're going to open up through that left arm, sweeping back and around, holding onto your waistband, drawing that shoulder blade back and down, gaze over your shoulder. Breathing nice and deep, checking in with your breath, and on your next inhalation, let's lengthen that left arm back down onto the mat. Inhale to gently walk each hand in towards you, drawing those hands under your shoulders, and let's open up the chest, coming to sit onto the heels. Sending each hand back and behind the hips, fingertips facing towards the back, opening up through the chest, pushing the belly forwards, coming to a light back bend here, sending the gaze up towards the sky, opening up through the throat. Breathing into the chest, feeling your heart expanding and radiating open. On your next inhalation, sending the gaze into the room. Let's gently draw those arms circling up into the sky. Drawing your fingers together, interlacing, and exhale, sending those arms nice and long into the room, bending, rounding through the spine, chin to the chest. Inhale, opening up and sending your gaze towards the sky, arms up. Exhale, releasing and circling, opening up those arms again. Drawing those hands in front of you, coming into your tabletop position, this time tucking under the toes, and we're going to push back and up into your downward dog, lengthening up through the hips, sending those shoulder blades back and down, and we can begin to walk out through each heel, down towards the mat. Noticing the sensations in your legs, noticing any areas that may be feeling bit more dull or sore, just taking your time to work into those areas. Coming to rest in your downward dog, sending the gaze towards the thighs. And on your next inhalation, we're going to draw forwards into your high plank, stacking shoulders on top of the hands, feet together, gaze towards the mat. Drawing that right knee towards the right elbow, engaging through your core. Holding here for 2 breaths. Releasing that foot back down to the mat, and inhale. Let's draw forwards with that left knee towards the left elbow, again engaging through your core, chin towards the chest. Holding here for 2 breaths. You've got this. Lengthening that leg back out onto the mat and drawing back up into your downward facing dog. Exhale, gaze towards the thighs. Taking the weight into that right hand, and with the left hand, drawing to the outside of that left shin, gaze over towards that right side. Releasing down with that left hand onto the mat, and this time, drawing that right hand, holding on to the outside of your left shin, gaze over to the left side. Feeling the strength here in your shoulders, in your arms, breathing nice and deep. Let's release that right hand back down onto the mat. On your next inhalation, again drawing forwards into your high plank, engaging through your core, and we're going to release down into chaturanga, so elbows squeezing into the body, halfway lift, and inhale to rise up and through those arms, opening up the chest, upward facing dog, lifting up from the thighs. Exhale, drawing back into your downward facing dog, lengthening up through those hips. Let's inhale to lengthen and rise through that right leg, opening up the hips, bending through the knee, flexing through that foot into your 3-legged dog. Gaze up towards the right knee. Focusing on your breath, focusing on the weight between those hands and that left foot, checking they're nice and equal. Exhale, let's release that right foot back down, and we're going to begin to circle that knee round and clockwise 3 times, opening up through those hips, making big circles. Keep engaging through your body. And let's rise up this time with your left leg nice and long into the sky. Exhale, opening up into your 3-legged dog, opening up those hips, bending and flexing through that foot, releasing down through the left leg, and let's begin again bending through that left knee, circling around clockwise, making those circles as big as you want to, trying to keep your hips nice and straight as possible in one nice level. Releasing back down into your downward facing dog. And on your next inhalation, bending through those knees, coming into your tabletop position, drawing those knees nice and wide to the outside of the mat, relaxing down the forehead, child's pose. Lengthening those arms nice and long next to the body, holding those fingertips together, back and behind your feet, into your embryo pose. Taking your time here to feel your body, to feel your breath. Noticing your connection to the mat. Noticing how the mat feels beneath your forehead. Your next inhalation, drawing your hands underneath your shoulders. And again, we're going to gently come back up to sit over those heels, drawing the hands back and behind. This time, fingertips facing forward, opening up through the chest, sending that heart radiating up into the sky, gaze towards the ceiling. Holding here for 2 more deep breaths, breathing into it nice and deep. On your next inhalation, sending your gaze back into the room. And this time we're going to come up into our full camel pose. So drawing up and over those hips, sitting over the knees, tucking under the toes. Hands can hold onto the hips as we gently begin to draw those hips into the room, engaging through your glutes, opening up through the chest. Keep drawing those hips forward. And maybe you can release each hand one at a time onto the ankles. If you can't, no problem, you can stay halfway. Breathing nice and deep here. Sending your gaze towards the ceiling. Exhale, let's gently release that left hand from the ankle. We're going to gently sit back into those heels, lengthening that left arm, and then the right arm forwards to the top of the mat with those hands. Opening up the hips into the sky, into your happy puppy pose, releasing down the chest, melting onto the mat. Breathing nice and deep, softening through those hips. Exhale, let's gently sit down into those heels, relaxing down through the body. And we've come to the end of our somatic yoga for grief. I hope you've had a nice practice, and please take as much time as you need to at the end of class. Maybe you'd like to rest in Savasana, and maybe you'd like to simply rest in your child's pose. Thank you so much for joining me today, and see you next time.